Okay, so technology on Just Rolling On, probably my favourite subject. Well, second favourite subject after the bike, I guess. Took a lot of stuff with me, used a lot of stuff beforehand, and most of it actually worked really well. So I'm going to spend the next 15-20 minutes or so going over some of this and introduce you to some of the bits and pieces. First off, you don't need it all. You don't need any of it. If you look back in the history of overlanding, many people have survived without any of it, but it does make life easier. Why did I take what I took? Well, probably for 4 or 5 main reasons. Safety, security, to record the journey for posterity, for my own personal motivation. Indeed, the technology prior to the event and during the event as well for planning and preparation purposes, and just generally to make life easier. You know, technology can be your friend. Um, so what were the key bits and pieces that we took? Going to go through each of them, not in a lot of detail, as I said. I'm going to put more detailed written articles up on the website and some photographs as well. So really, this is just at a summary level. So firstly, from a safety perspective, probably the most important thing I took with me, decided well before I went on the trip, was my DeLorme InReach, which I'm looking for at the moment. It's somewhere around here. Here we go. This is a DeLorme InReach SE. It's a satellite communications device. It's not a telephone. This tracks your position and provides positional information to a remote station that's run by DeLorme. I think it's in the States. Monitors your position 24/7, 365 days a year. It also allows you two-way communication by text message. You can link it to an app on your iPhone for ease of text input, but basically two-way text messaging via satellite through DeLorme's computers, either to DeLorme directly or more usefully to friends and families, to their to their email addresses, or indeed to their mobile phones directly. Always infinitely useful. So a lot of the time when you're out in remote areas, in the middle of the Simpson Desert, that's been a good example, middle of the Atacama, where there is no GPRS signal, so you've got no mobile phone. This is the ideal, in fact, the only way to communicate, unless you've got a really expensive sat phone. Brilliant piece of kit. Not that expensive to buy itself. Can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. Yes, you do have to pay a subscription, an annual subscription. Depending upon how much you're going to use it, it varies. I think my subscription was at around about 30 UK pounds per annum for which gives you a certain number of units you can use for communicating. The other good thing it gives you is live tracking on the DeLorme website, and I actually embedded that live tracking into my own website so people could see where I was real time 24/7. Really useful piece of kit, excellent. And probably the most important part of this device is the bit that you hopefully never use. I think you can probably see there, which is a SOS button. That, when carried on you, not on your bike, got to be said, because when you come off your bike, more likely than not, you won't be able to get back to it. If you have a serious accident, you need it on your person. So I personally carried it on my Krieger rucksack, just in here, so if I did come off, I had easy access to it, assuming I didn't have a broken right arm. Press the SOS button, that sends an immediate signal to the DeLorme InReach team in the States, who pick up that. Now, beyond that, they then connect with local authorities in wherever you are in the world, be they police, fire, ambulance, whoever. Not having used it, I don't know exactly how it works, but I have seen examples of how it works. They do hopefully communicate with you via the two-way text messaging to find out what your issue is. It might be that you're simply broken down by the side of the road. It may be that you're more seriously injured. So I think they ascertain what the level of emergency is before they send out the police to sort you out. But this, to me, worked 100%, never had an issue with it throughout. Great piece of kit. So that's the first piece of safety and security stuff. The other piece of kit not got on me because it's on the bikes, which was invaluable for me during the trip, which is for two main reasons: security of the bike, also for recording my trip, was a piece of equipment called an Automatrix M-Track. It's essentially a GPS security and tracking device specific for cars and motorcycles that again provides actually minute-by-minute tracking on the bike by GPS and GPRS. Excellent device, not cheap by any means, and yes, you have to pay a subscription, but the device really is superb. Given the hammering that the bike had and the device had throughout, never failed me at all. It can also be remotely controlled and is remotely monitored 24/7 by Automatrix in the UK. Automatrix can access it via its GPS and GPRS signal to reconfigure the device remotely, which is really useful. You also have a remote control device to activate a movement sensor as well. Yes, these things can be removed by thieves if they so wish, but if they try to remove it, you'll soon know about it, because the motion sensor would activate and you'd get a text message through on your phone or other means of communication by your choice. Great piece of device. Most importantly for me as well, it provided really detailed GPS tracking, which I've since downloaded after the trip to provide, which is even more accurate really than my Garmin GPS system. It provided my accurate position, heading and speed and altitude on 2-minute intervals throughout the whole trip. So an excellent piece of kit. That is the M-Track system manufactured by Automatrix. What else did we take? Well, while we're on the subject of GPS, my Garmin Montera. I'm going to switch it on, but those of you that know Garmin, they make various GPS systems, route management systems for cars, motorcycles and the likes. This is at the higher end of Garmin's price range and specification, I guess. It provides a whole load of functionality way beyond just route management. Does email, 8-megapixel camera and all sorts of stuff. Frankly, loved the GPS piece of it and the mapping and route management. The rest stuff I never used. It was pretty much overkill. Good thing about it is 100% robust. Again, it got a hammering whenever I was on the bike. Been in some pretty extreme places with this and suffered a lot of vibration, hell of a lot of dust and sand. Never failed me. Touchscreen, a little bit sensitive to be honest. When it was torrential rain, it would throw a bit of a fit, and it doesn't really like thick gloves either. So touchscreen is a bit of a problem. But other than that, it was brilliant. In terms of mapping, again, I cover this in a more detailed respect in the online article. Mapping, I used OSM, OpenStreetMaps, throughout in South America that were brilliant. And I used the Garmin City Navigator and Topo Maps in Australia, which was brilliant. Really detailed, as up-to-date as any up-to-date map can be. Unbelievable some of the routes they've gone on these things. Again, cover that in more detail. This was magic. 100% robust. What else do we have? Right, we'll cover recording of the event, so recording the whole journey. 3 things, really mainly. My iPhone 6, which I guarded with my life throughout the whole trip. This was invaluable for tons of reasons, not just recording, but lots of other things in terms of apps that I used that were really useful during the journey. Recorded a little bit of video on this, tons of photographs, supplemented my main camera, which we'll come on to at the moment, but used this almost minute by minute during the whole trip and got it with my life. It was absolutely brilliant. iPhone 6. In terms of other camera equipment for video, on the bike, which I used on my helmet, top of here, This is a Garmin Vibe Elite. It's the older one, not the newer one that's been out in the last couple of years or so. Suits my needs. I didn't actually do a lot of on-bike video. Don't know why. Just didn't. Felt a bit conscious of this thing stuck to my head. But when I did use it, again, it's just so robust. It's unbelievable. Come off that many times on The Simpsons. Haven't got all those videos on the website, but come off that many times and it's never failed. It is hugely robust. Used this for about a couple of years in the UK before I went away. Massively robust, and tons of recording, good quality recording as well. The only thing I don't like about the Garmin Vibe is the video editing software, which is not easy to use. It's a bit clunky and very, very slow. Other than that, that survived the trip as well. Great news. Right, come on to the beast. Camera equipment. This is a Panasonic Lumix GH4 micro 4/3 camera, and this is what I used for almost exclusively for all of the higher quality photographs that I did, and some video as well. Why did I choose this camera? A number of reasons. Quality. I wanted something that was smaller and more robust than your standard SLR. Didn't want to be carrying around $3,000 worth of Canon EOS or Olympus, whatever. I simply didn't have the space and I needed to cut down on weight, but I wanted quality. And also what I wanted was a camera that recorded really high quality video, and this gets rave reviews on its 4K video performance as well. As I said, it's not light. I guess it's about a kilogram or so, maybe a kilogram and a half with a lens on it. But it's really robust. It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant, and it has been dropped a number of times in rocks and in the pool and come out absolutely fine. Haven't broken a thing, got a few scratches on it, but highly robust, deals with the sand and the dust inevitably. So this went in my tank bag throughout the whole journey with 3 lenses. Decided to take 3 lenses. Probably could have gotten away with 2, to be honest. I'm not by any means a camera expert, but this did record some amazing shots throughout, both in terms of video and still shots, as you can see on the website. 3 lenses I took. I decided to take two prime lenses, one 14mm, which equates to 28mm on an SLR, on a standard SLR, and this lens here, which is a 25mm prime lens, which equates to a 50mm on an SLR. Here's the 14mm, quite nifty wee lens, both prime lenses. And the other lens I took, the only zoom lens I took, was this 45 to 175mm lens, which gives me a zoom capability out to equivalent to 300mm. And this, in terms of zoom, probably could have done with something slightly bigger in terms of telephoto capability, but this did for me. Didn't use it a lot, but did use it for some close-ups on some of the animal shots and stuff. So those 2 and that all went in my tank bag, locked up in when I was generally on the bike, but really excellent in many ways. So that's basically the recording equipment I took on the trip. What else was there? So that's Garmin Montera, sorry, Panasonic GH4, my Automatrix M-Track, DeLorme InReach, and the Vibe. The other piece of key tech which used to do some of the blogging, recording, planning, and so on and so forth, was obviously my laptop. And you're probably sitting there thinking, how on earth did a laptop survive getting beaten about, shaken about, dust, sand, deserts, and the bike being dropped on it on a regular basis? Well, it did, and how it did was because of this. This is my Pelican case, robust, waterproof, shockproof, bomb-proof just about. This case Pelican case with my Acer S4 laptop. Went in the side, soft side pannier, and despite a huge amount of abuse, protected the laptop throughout for everything. Really excellent piece of kit and hugely recommended. Do not take a laptop in either a soft or hard pannier with just a soft case. It ain't going to survive. You need some kind of vibration resistance, especially if you're riding a KTM 690. So that was a Pelican case. This is a laptop. Decided on an Acer S4. You can see, pretty nifty piece of kit. Quite small. It's got about I think it's just under a 15-inch screen. Running Windows 8 until I upgraded to Windows 10 when it was released when I was on the trip. Pretty high specification Acer S4 went for a high specification processor and the most memory I could get in it, which is 4 gig. But probably the most important thing I did to it in terms of modification on it is I took out the standard hard drive and replaced it with a solid state drive. The simple reason, two simple reasons. One, robustness. A solid state drive is much less likely to fail with the vibrations that this thing was going to suffer than a standard drive. And secondly, performance as well. Solid state drives, pound for pound, are just much better performance. And this thing never had a single issue with this at all, and it still survives today. And it really has been banged about something no end. So Acer S4 supplemented my recording. The solid state drive is 500 gigabytes, and supplemented this by backing up to a Corsair 250 gigabit USB memory stick, which I carried with me separate from the case. So that really recorded everything in terms of photographs, videos, and helped me with planning and so forth on the trip. So that's most of the gear. Other bits and pieces, I guess, you may be interested in. Something that was really useful, I actually got on the trip rather than before I went away. Wish I thought of one went away. Bought it in Australia, actually. Most of you be familiar with these things, which are essentially high-powered lithium batteries. This is a 6,000 milliamp battery USB charger. So with this thing, using a cable such as this, you can plug in and recharge just about any peripheral USB type device. So this would recharge my iPhone, Garmin Vibe, the DeLorme Reach, recharge the camera battery, basically anything, lots of times, which is great, and you can get these all over the world, and that's fine. But this thing's got something even better, which is invaluable for me, more peace of mind than anything else. This plugs in to here, and this thing can kickstart a 3-litre V6 diesel car easily. Seen it done, used it on somebody's car as a favour. I carried it as peace of mind, just in case I had any batteries or starting issues on the bike, specifically when it was cold and at altitude. So it really was peace of mind. Never actually needed to use this, but I did use it to kickstart somebody's 3-litre diesel first time round. Brilliant. I got this from Battery Tech in Australia, but I know there's other UK-based companies do it as well. So it's 6,000 milliamp charger. Great stuff. What else? Look, with that and a combination, I did have a dual USB charger on the bike. Really didn't need any other peripheral charging at all, because that combination of the USB charger on the bike and that thing, I could recharge anything. Even the laptop, I actually carried a DC 12-volt charger that plugged into the bike's battery charger, so it really was pretty self-sufficient in terms of charging capability. But sitting in hotel rooms on the odd occasion, what was also useful to have, or essential to have as well, is obviously the laptop charger. Now this is not standard laptop charger. You can see in terms of most laptop chargers, it is significantly slimmer, significantly lighter. And I got this from a company called Lick, which you can find on Amazon. They make various chargers with various adapters for most makes of laptops. And two good things about these is one, the weight and size of them are significantly smaller than what comes with your laptop as standard, and they also incorporate a USB charging port on them as well, which is really useful. So, you know, what you'll hear on the article I'm going to produce on the luggage and packing front, you've really got to think carefully about stuff that's going into your panniers. You know, really think about weight and space. It really makes your life so much easier. Even things as little as this really make a difference. The laptop make a difference. The camera being smaller than SLR make a difference. All these things in combination can make a big difference to your trip. So what else have we got? Probably worth mentioning for the camera, memory devices carried the Transcend 64 gigabit ultra high speed cards for the camera. Carried 3 of these things. Never used 3. Only used one part of one. So I certainly didn't need 3. I suppose one as a spare as well, but bought 3. Didn't need them. And for sitting in hotel rooms as well, carried a small USB rechargeable Bluetooth mouse for the laptop as well, which probably could have gotten away with, to be honest. Didn't really need it. The only other thing worth mentioning is how do you protect all this stuff? Well, if you haven't got a Pelican case on them, worth investing in things like these Dura Gadget case, which is a sort of semi-hard case, which you don't want anything too hard that'll crack when it's compressed inside your pannier luggage. When you're stuffing things in your luggage, you want something that's got a wee bit of flex in it, but will protect things. So, you know, things like your mouse fit in there, and you know, it'll give it a form of protection, but not hard so it cracks. I did actually have a number of small cases that I took initially away with me that once you pack stuff in, they tend to crack. So semi-hard soft cases is pretty good as well. Only other thing worth mentioning, I guess, is this thing. Camera fanatics amongst you will recognize this as a Joby GorillaPod. This is a small tripod for any form of SLR, micro four thirds camera, and what this does is a lot of that sort of stuff. You can put it anywhere, rocks, trees, whatever, for your photos, photo opportunities, especially when you're traveling on your own. It's got a ball mount, swivel ball mount in here, and we obviously to get your levels correctly when the camera's positioned as well. I never actually used this at all, not even once. Probably should have done, and probably would have taken more pictures with it if I didn't carry it throughout Australia and South America. Again, excess baggage. So that's about it on all the hard stuff here. Used a lot of, I did mention the maps, used OpenStreetMap, which again I'll go into some detail on the written article. In terms of apps and stuff, you use Google Maps a lot. Create yourself a Google account. Save a lot of places in your Google Maps, your Google Places. Works really well, just as a quick reference, if nothing else, for where the next hotel is going to be, next fuel station, whatever. Works really well. You also used an app called iOverlander. That's iOverlander, which is a resource, pretty simple app, a resource mainly for four-wheel drive overlanders around the world, really. It maps and is used by people to essentially provide reviews, points of interest on things like camping, mechanics, hotels, possibly areas where there may be issues in respect of the road, customs, and so on and so forth. You'll see yourself. It's not really designed for motorcyclists. As I said, it's mainly for four-wheel drive camper van fanatics, but it can come in useful. And there's tons of other things out there. I use Booking.com a lot. Would you believe it? Across the world, Horizons Unlimited, the hub for a lot of communication, Facebook and stuff as well. But again, I'll cover a lot of that on the written article. In terms of uploading stuff to various websites and the cloud, I did use the cloud infrequently, used the Amazon cloud towards the end of the trip, but more importantly I kept at home a Synology disk station, 2 terabyte disk station, so when I did have good Wi-Fi or good connectivity, hotels and so on and so forth, I would upload all my photographs, videos and stuff to home. And obviously the website itself, I'll go into that again in a bit more detail in the written blog, but thanks for that really go down to Rosalind Design in Pennycook, who created the website for me, and now it's out there and it's up to me to maintain it and use Facebook as well. Probably worth mentioning actually the whole Facebook versus website and blogging stuff. Me personally, I did find blogging not difficult, but very time consuming. I wanted to be out on the bike, enjoying riding my bike on the trip, and okay, there is downtime generally when the bike's in for maintenance and so on and so forth, but you really have to devote time to blogging. And personally, I did it during Australia, the blogs throughout Australia, and they were it was okay while it lasted, but once I got to South America, I really lost some motivation for blogging, as you can see from the website. I will promise to catch up on that, because there's a ton of good stuff really that I should be documenting, and I will be doing that. But I really transitioned from blogging to using Facebook more regularly to update my family and friends at home, and ended up just posting daily small paragraphs with a few pictures on what I've done and what went on during the day, both good and bad. Worked for them. I think people generally are more inclined to read a paragraph than a 6-page tome, but each to their own, each to their own. So really that's it on the technology stuff. As I say, this is just really a summary of the stuff and giving you an idea how stuff looks. A lot more detail on the website to come. So thank you.